Hello, Silver Squad. It is Corvette Caviar, and it is Sunday, and I am going to do just a sit down with me and do my makeup and talk about whether I would live ever again in a senior community and if it's worth it. I'm going to just trim my eyebrows. Y'all, growing up, I had very thick caterpillar eyebrows. My sister did. All the men in the family does. And after years of plucking and threading and waxing and age, they are just not as thick as they used to be. I am going to find a dermatologist come Monday, if I can remember tomorrow, to call United Healthcare and find out how much my copay is to go see a dermatologist to get some of these moles taken off. I did try that Dr. Scholl's freeze thing, and it does work, but by the time I got somebody to help me with it, the kit was near expiring. I still have it. I've tried all those little other things that you see on TV or on YouTube or whatever, but they don't actually work. So now that I have the time, I'm going to schedule and get some of these moles taken off. And they did not start coming until after I had my youngest child. I had him at 33, and they started coming maybe about the age of 35, 36. But now, and I did get some of them removed. Went in just for a regular exam at the doctor's, and some of them were hurting, and they do hurt when they get ready to fall off. And back then, when I did go to the doctor for my regular exam, I asked her if she could cut some of them off, and she said only if they were painful, and I told her, yeah, they were painful. So she cut one off between the legs, under the arm, and I think 2 of them off on the neck. And for me, I don't know if anybody else who have issues with this, they will remove these at the doctor's office if they are in pain, if you are in pain. I did ask her if she could remove some more, but she said no, that is something for the dermatologist. She would only do it because I complained about them being painful. So I did, at that time, I had a coworker who had a lot of them on her face as well. And she told me she went to, I'm assuming this was so long ago, y'all, I could be lying, but I thought she said she went to a dermatologist and it was $100 to remove each one. And then I was just like, oh no, I can't afford that. And then, and I'm moving y'all around, trying to get y'all in the best angle, not too close, but not too far. So I just left it alone. I know some people do tying the string around and cutting off the bloodstream and all of that, but that's too much. So I'm just looking through here, guys, and seeing some of the questions or some of the things that I want to talk to you guys about, and moving some of this stuff over so I can set up my little questions that I have. And no, I didn't want to do it on my phone. Some people let their phone be the life of them. They put their grocery list and everything in it, which is nothing wrong with that because sometimes I do that. But I don't like to really use it in the grocery store. But if I forget my list, which I have on several occasions, I'll use my phone and get my grocery list. But I just don't like picking up meat and everything with my hands and then have my phone in my hand and all of that type of stuff. But yeah, that's why I don't put a lot of stuff in in my phone to use. This is a mixture of matte and shiny setting spray. I don't have any primer, and I really don't use primer, but I do use concealer. But I normally just spray my face first, and I've already washed my face and put all of my little serums and stuff on. So I'm just going to spray my face with some setting spray and let that dry. Now, one of the questions I have on here, it says, the honest truth about moving into a 55 plus community apartment. Some of the things, you guys, the one that I live in is a tax credit / market rate unit. Tax credit is if you don't make over 40, it's more than 40,000. It used to be 40,000, but I can't really remember what the exact amount is now. It may be 45,000. I'm not sure. But I made last year way more than that. So I did not, and y'all, I'm looking for something to fan my face with. I do have a lot of stuff to fan it with, but like I can't find it right now. So I made way too much money to get qualified under tax credit, which I knew I did, but they still wanted to try to get me under that because I had quit my current job. Well, not my current job, but the job that I had before the one that I got laid off on. And I told them I've made way more than that, and that was in September of last year, 2025, when I was applying for this apartment. And plus, they count anything that money that is put into your account. My son would send me his portion of our auto insurance. So they counted that as income. And then if my other son sent me any money for whatever reason, that would count. Even though it may have been some money that he owed me, that would still count. If my mom sent me some money, that would count. Whether she sent it for my birthday, Christmas, Mother's Day, or whatever, that would count as income. So if you're thinking about moving into a 55 and older apartment complex, and you know you're making too much money, or even if you're not making the amount, but all the other things that gets deposited into your account counts as income into your checking account. And even though I did real estate for 10 years, I didn't do anything that had to do with low income, whether I was doing rental or buyer or seller. So I didn't know that. I learned a lot of things once. And I'm just using Beauty Supply store-bought concealer. I used 2 different color concealers, but I didn't know about them wanting to see bank statements and all of that. And so I had to go and get that from the bank because it wasn't showing up good on when I downloaded my bank statement and emailed it to them. It wasn't showing up good. It wasn't even showing up good on my phone when I tried to when I tried to download it and print it, or view it, should I say. I don't know if that's some safety mechanism on my phone or on the bank's part, but I had to go and get my bank statement and bring that back to them. And y'all, they moved slow, in my opinion, because I had already got an offer letter at the job that I just recently, back on the last day of January, got laid off from. I had already had the welcome letter and everything. And I was trying to get approved before I moved so I can just be situated, before I started a new job. But that didn't happen, so I had to move with my son, my oldest, for 2 weeks. I didn't want to interrupt his way of life living, and I just wanted my own place. Now I keep makeup sponges in this bag. One is for pressed powder, woo, and one is for foundation, and then one is for one is for pressed powder, one's foundation, and then one is for the concealer. The darker one, this one, is for the concealer. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I'm trying to do two things at once. Back to what I was saying. And y'all, sometimes I will do my eyebrows before my makeup. It just depends. I'm trying to keep up with what I'm doing and throwing myself off as well by trying to talk to y'all. I'm trying to multitask, and I've never done one of these kind of sit down and talk with me and then trying to explain what I'm doing with the makeup. So I'll be going back and forth. Y'all just bear with me. But yeah, I was living with my son for 2 weeks, sleeping on the sofa, and I bought him for his apartment since him and his wife had separated. I bought him a sofa set, a sofa and a chair, and then I got my granddaughter a little table that she could eat at. Well, the first week that sofa was sleeping good, and then the second week my body said, "Girl, my insides was hurting, y'all. It was hurting. I had enough of that sofa." But thank God I had a place to stay. I could have went with my parents, but this time I said, no, I'm going to go with my son. I helped him out, and he was nice enough to say, yeah. I think he really enjoyed it, if you ask me. And I didn't know how long it was going to take me to get approved, but I did tell him that I would go half on his rent, and that was it. Because he in one of them apartments where they split the water bill and stuff with the unit that you're in, and I'm not sure what they do with gas. He had an electric stove, but I don't know if they had to pay for gas or not. But I've never lived in a rental place where I had to depend on my neighbors not using so much water, so my water bill won't be so high. And but I know a lot of apartment complexes are like that. After I sold my house, I always rented a home. And why I sold my house is another story. Nothing bad though. Oh, this is another type of concealer. It's drugstore, Beauty Supply concealer. This is, as you can see, HD concealer. The number says NCL007 Coyote. The other one that I used, it says NCL017 Brick. I always use the orange colored one first and then the beige color one. And this is getting low, but I like to get all I can get out of it before I just throw it away. But anyway, yeah, I told him I would go half on the rent, but since I was only there for 2 weeks, I didn't give him any money because I had to pay to have my furniture delivered. But I did buy us food and stuff if I went out, because like on the weekends, I would go out and kind of stay long, just going in and out of shops and stuff. Because he stayed in the Energy Corridor, which is close to Westheimer. And if you know or you don't, Westheimer has the Galleria, and then there's just so many shops. You can just shop for days and never run out of a shop to go into. You can eat at a different restaurant for days and all of that stuff. But I would call him and say, hey, on my way, you want something to eat? And I'll pick up him, and the babe, my granddaughter, something to eat. But, yeah, back to senior living. My first question, well, the tax credit, that's what I was talking about. That means you make a certain amount of money and you can't go over that certain amount. I think it may be $45,000 a year. I'm not sure. Look it up for the state of Texas, because I don't remember. I've never been able to get anything as far as low income wise, except when I was unemployed. And I've been unemployed, laid off, should I say, 3 times in my life. One time I went from being laid off because they let us know, because it was a contract position and I was the last employee to let go, because I was a data specialist, and besides me, the director and my manager, we were the last ones left. And I knew about that, so we all had been looking for a job, and I got a job. My last day was on Thursday, and that Monday was the day after MLK Day. No, or was it MLK Day? But anyway, it was a Monday or Tuesday. My last day was Thursday, and then I went to the new job either Monday or Tuesday. So there was no bout per se of unemployment for me. But then that job I got laid off from. And I was laid off for exactly 6 months, because the new job that I started that on March the 23rd of 2023. And I stayed there, applied for another position, because the position I had, it was too new for me, and it was something I couldn't relate to. But did I do everything? I don't remember putting anything on these. So we're gonna do it. I'm talking too much. But anyway, I got that job, stayed on it for 9 months, and it was just not for me. I couldn't do that. I didn't want to, being an essential employee, some people don't mind. I don't want to be an essential employee. I don't want to be that important to a job that if it's snowing, the world coming to an end, I got to try to get in and be there. I don't want that. I don't want to be that important. If my family is evacuating, I won't evacuate too. I don't want to be here trying to be no essential employee for nobody. Nopey, nope. So I went to I applied and got another position, and that's the one that I actually quit. The toxic workplace environment was just god awful. Now, I'm the type of person, y'all. Now, I like to say I'm a God-spirited led child, and I am. But sometimes the flesh will get to you, and I would cuss you out and quit a job, because I've quit 2 jobs. One job I completed the training, and the last day of the training I told them I quit, I wasn't coming back. The other job I worked in finance and retirement, I didn't like that. I didn't show back up. What made me not show back up now? I wasn't 60, I was 57. I remember that. And I went to the restroom, and I can't remember if we had to go upstairs to the restroom or what, but it was a big building. And I was gone for about 3 minutes, because it's more women, and you standing in line waiting to use a restroom that has 3 stalls, and there's approximately 300 people in a building. Came back, and he called me before I could even sign on, because they watch it, see how long you was going on the phone, because it was a call center. And that was my first time working in the call center, and I hated it. That was a wake-up call for me. But dude called me and asked me, where was I? Oh, but no. And what was I doing? I wish I had a paper towel. I'm going to cut y'all off right quick and come back. Okay, y'all, I'm back. And it was a call center, as I was saying. I've never worked in a call center before. It wasn't something that I ever planned on wanting to do. And I'm just wiping my face because it's itching and I don't want to touch it with my finger. But I never worked in a call center before. And I knew it wasn't anything I wanted to do. But it was paying good. And so I took the job. But when he asked me, where was I and what was I doing? That just touched me in the wrong way. Had me clutching my pearls. And I told him I was in the restroom. What took you so long? Okay? I told him, excuse my language, y'all. I'm trying to see what this code says. Excuse my language, y'all, but I told him I was taking a SHIT. I wasn't. I was just waiting my turn to get in the stall. And then I hung up. You don't ever ask me. I am grown. What was I doing in the restroom? What the heck you think a person doing in the restroom? Yeah, some people probably go in there to snort. But I don't. I go in there to use and do whatever I got to do. And he called me back and said he wasn't finished talking to me. Well, I'm finished talking to you, boo-boo. Next time I'll give you a sample. And that was the end of that conversation. I got so many black eyebrow liners. And most of all of my stuff come from the beauty supply store. Rarely do I go to Sephora or Ulta or any stores like that. I keep saying I want to go to Ulta because my niece works there part-time, but and then it's an Ulta down. It's not too far from me. But I'm just like, that makeup's so expensive. I just want to put it on and be able to take it off at the end of the day. But my foundations, these two I normally buy from Walgreens. Let me see. And they, I guess, stopped carrying them. Walmart carries them too. It's called Black Radiance. This one here is what I wear all the time. It's 84.16. But I had this one here, last time I bought it, I had to order it off of Amazon. And then this one here is 84.11. Now, I use this one here during the winter because my skin lightens up, turns pale. So I have to mix the two together because if I did the darker one, it would make me, you would be able to tell, ooh, what's wrong with her makeup. Now, this one here, it's called, I don't know the name of it. I got this from the beauty supply store. 2-in-1 foundation concealer. And it's, y'all, I can't see. It says Absolute New York, but y'all know these things are so small. But I like the color. The color is Neutral Mocha MFFC07. So I like that one, but I do want to go get a lighter one like I use in this one here when I go back to the beauty supply. Because like I said, I'm not into a lot of that name brand. But I do have three eyeshadow palettes by, oh, y'all have heard of this brand too, by Morphe. Is it Morphe? Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Yeah, Morphe. And, but I got those from, what do you call it? Marshalls. Marshalls will have all of the, discontinued, at least they say it's discontinued. Y'all, I'm trying to get this paper towel off the floor. They say it's discontinued. They have the same colors. They just changed the name of the colors of the eyeshadows, but they're the same. So I just wait until they put them in a discount store and then go buy it there. So now, let's see, we'll go ahead on and let me dab this a little bit more. We shall go ahead on and get the eyebrows done. Back to department. Market rate. Market rate means when you make too much money and you don't qualify for any type of discounts or anything. Now, when you move into a market rate tax credit apartment, they have a certain amount in units in tax credit and market rate. I think they have more units available in tax credit than they do market rate. However, when I moved over to this unit, they didn't have anything available in market rate, only tax credit. However, the unit that I'm in was actually considered a tax credit. However, the man that lived here in this unit, he was in the hospital and he passed away in the hospital. But this was a tax credit unit. I'm not sure, I probably said market rate, but it was a tax credit unit. So she said, I'll tell you what, the unit that's going to be available as a market rate is not going to be available for a couple of months. She says, since you already have been approved for a market rate unit, what we're going to do is the market rate unit that's available, the tax credit unit that's available where the man passed away in the hospital, we're just going to turn that into a market rate, and then when the lady man who's in the market rate unit moves out, we're going to turn that one into the tax credit unit. So yay. And then, so that's how I got in here. There is a long process. You do have to provide all the stuff that they ask you to. Now, would I have to have provided all of the information like bank statements had I not been in between jobs? But I still had that offer letter of when I was going to be starting my new job. I don't know. I don't know if they do everybody like that just to make sure so they won't be at fault of anything. I don't know. But and I'm not complaining about it. I'm glad they want to make sure. And so definitely not mad about that. Appreciate them for looking out for me. But that's the difference between market rate and tax credit. And again, I went over the application process, the paychecks, the offer letters, bank statements you have to bring in. Of course, you have to bring in your Social Security and your form of ID, whether that's a driver's license, Texas ID, or passport. Let me see. Oh, let me bring this up too. Just because it is a 55 and older community does not mean someone under 55 cannot live here. Everybody that's 55 and older may not be married to someone that is 55. So you can live in a tax credit community and not be 55. Now this particular, I just messed up. This particular unit, I think the lady said you have to be at least 35. Is that for all of them? I don't know. And so there's that for as only having to be 55 to live over here. Now, could you live over here if you weren't 55 and you were younger? No. But if you're married to somebody and they're 55 and older, then yeah, you can live over here. Can you live over here if you're not 35 and be married to somebody? I don't know. I cannot answer that. Cannot answer that, cannot answer that, cannot answer that. So let me get on. Oh, the amenities. Over here, all the amenities is just like it is for any other luxury apartment complex, because this is luxury. You have your, yeah, I can see out the window, but I thought I saw somebody walking by. You have your walking trails. You have your exercise room, fitness room. Excuse me. You have your, they have a basketball court, swimming pool, play area for kids, because, you know, some people over here got grandkids, you know, so they accommodate the kiddos. My grandkids have taken advantage of the play area. They have the barbecue pits. You have garages that you can rent. They have a barber and beautician that comes on site on certain days. You make an appointment with him or her, and then we have a area where there's an actual, you know, styling room where they do your hair and stuff. We have a library. You can go in the community area and watch TV and stuff in case you don't want to just be stuck in your apartment all day, especially if you are one of those who can't drive or whatever. What else we have? Oh, coffee. You can go and get coffee anytime. And y'all, these eyebrows do not always come out the same. I don't know what it is, but they don't. And yeah, you can go and get coffee. I think I said the library already. Yeah, they have a library. And you can bring books if you want to. And they do community things. They have garage sales, Christmas parties. They did the rodeo, luncheon. They do different things. They have Bible study. They have a retirement thing, come out here and talk to you about retirement, because everybody over here is not retired. And they talk to you about getting prepared to be retired. What else they talk to you about? What else? Oh, they have I don't know how they do it, because there's no vans or anything that's parked in the community. But they take you to Walmart and Kroger's on certain days. And what I'm doing is just putting some pressed powder. This color is warm beige. The brand is Nickak, Nickak. Color is warm beige MP108. Flawless finish. This also came from the beauty supply store. Most of all my makeup is going to come from Uptown Beauty Supply. Yeah, most of the time it's going to come from Uptown Beauty Supply. And yeah, they have a van that will take you to Walmart and Kroger's. And they do a little birthday thing for everybody whose birthday is in each month, where they make cake and you come down there and get cake and, you know, all the little stuff. What else they do? That's it for the amenities. And that's as well as the social activities. Like I said, they do Christmas, Thanksgiving, they do potlucks, all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing, utilities, what we pay for. The only thing we pay for is lights, and you choose your own light company. We don't have water to pay. We don't have gas to pay, any of that. You pay your rent, and we pay that through app. You can write a check. You can do a money order, or you can go through one of them app things like Rent something or Flex, whatever, and you can use them. However, the apartment complex doesn't use them, but you can get a bank account, check account through the app to pay your rent. What else? Okay, that's the acceptable rent payment each month. We have LA trash pickup 3 days a week. However, sometimes if a holiday falls during the week, say like it falls on if the holiday falls on a Friday and valet trash pickup is due on Friday, well, the next time it won't be another trash pickup until Monday. We have dumpsters where you can go and actually just dump your trash in the trash dumpster, because sometimes if you just on a regular day cooking fish or chicken, you know after that's been in your trash for 1 or 2 days, it's going to start stinking. And then what else? So yeah, we have valet trash pickup. We have beautician and barber that comes on site. I mentioned that we have a fitness center, walking trail, computer room, etc. I mentioned we have garage that you have to pay for. Van rides to Walmart and other places. And then last but not least, would I move into a senior community again, or will I stay for another year, or what? Would I move into another senior community? No. Being that I need 3 bedrooms and I'm in a 2-bedroom, however, I cannot set up my craft room anymore. And if you go back and look at some of my other videos, you will see that I had a craft room, because the rooms over here are so small. This is what I use for foundation. This came from the beauty supply store as well. I like it. It's a 2-in-1 foundation concealer. The color, it's called Neutral Mocha MFC07. I think I used this and showed y'all this. But anyway, no, I wouldn't do it again, because I need at least 3 or 4 bedrooms. And I know some people are like, why, it's just you. But just because it's me doesn't mean I don't need the space. You got to remember that single people buy houses all the time, and they buy a 3 or 4 bedroom house. Doesn't mean that just because you're single, or just because I'm considered a senior citizen, doesn't mean that I only shouldn't be able to have a 1 bedroom. Because somebody asked me, why do I need 2 bedrooms? Why not? Who says you have to be in a 1 bedroom just because you're one person? There are a lot of young people that I see on vlogs that they have 2 bedrooms. They make 1 bedroom a glam room. Some make it a craft room. But when when I had my house, I was much older. My kids kept me busy. I wasn't even thinking about doing crafts. I didn't start thinking about doing crafts until we were almost in COVID and didn't even know we was going to be in that. I'm looking for the brush that I normally do I think I threw it away though. I think it died on me. Yeah, well, I'm going to use this brush. And yeah, I don't have a certain brush that I use to do foundation. Well, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have brushes that I use for blush, face powder, and my foundation. But I don't go by a certain name or anything like that when I use it. But anyway, when I had my house, I wasn't thinking about a craft room or doing crafts. It would never cross my mind. Wasn't really interested in that because my boys were little and they were in so many different things. And I was going to school. I went to school for real estate. I went to school to be a court reporter. So I had enough on my plate at 2 times in my life when my kids were smaller and I owned my home. I worked a full-time job, went to school part-time, and had a part-time job. I did that twice. And so as far as doing crafts, it wasn't no interest in that. Hadn't thought about it. I was so busy with other things. That's when I had my other life. I always went to church, but I still went to clubs and stuff. Enjoying life. And then, so I had no need, no thought about doing crafts. Now, throughout my life, I did crochet. I'm not a good shader, but I can crochet. No clubs that I would join to do crochet, though. Not even at this point. But I do need at least 3 or 4 bedrooms. Because I have my makeup vanity as well. Now, before I moved over here, my rooms were big enough where I could have my makeup vanity in my bedroom. So that gave me room to have my craft room set up and my office in one. That's why I call it a craftist. But moving over, and y'all can go and look at some of my other videos and you can see that I did have a craft room. You can see some of the videos when my grandkids were in there crafting. They were painting and stuff. But over here, I can't even set up my craft room table because the room is not small. It's not big enough. So that pretty much is the only reason why I would not move back into a 55 and older community. I just need more room. One room for my office. And if I have to share a craft room in the office, it needs to be big enough so I can actually craft. And if y'all looked at my other video, y'all see all the boxes that's in that room that I showed y'all that I said was a storage room. It's considered a craft room, but I use it as storage because I can't craft. I just don't have enough room. And so, yeah, I wouldn't do it because of that. Now, if I got to a point that I don't want to craft anymore and got rid of all my craft stuff and maybe didn't even have a need to uh, even have an office anymore, this would be great. But because I still have a life. Oh, and then my grandkids. There's no place for them to sleep, except we all sleep in the living room when they come over. And that's what we did when they were, when I was living at my other apartment. We slept in the living room. I made them pallets on the floor, but since they're getting bigger, I want a room and section the room off where they all could have their little space. Because right now they're little, 4 and 8. So they don't mind sleeping on the floor in the living room, and I sleep on the sofa, or push the ottoman together and we all sleep on the sofa. To them right now, that's fun. And then I sleep on the sofa. Well, I haven't been sleeping on the sofa lately. I've been back in the bed. But to them, that's fun. But I want them to be able to have their own section of a room. And then I really would like a room just for my craft room. And not have to share it with my office. There are some rental communities, lots of them around here, that offer 3 or 4 bedrooms. It's just waiting list. You've got to get on the waiting list. And then you might get on the waiting list and they call you, because that happened to me before. But then I end up moving into an apartment. So only way you can really be able to do that is to go month to month on an apartment. And that's more expensive. Yeah, I'm using this Elf lock-on liner and brow cream and espresso. It's just this little thingy-wingy right here. And so that's why I want another. That's why I wouldn't want to renew my lease. Will I stay over here 2 years? Probably so. I try to do at least 2 years in every unit that I stay in. And then that's hard to say if I do two years. It just depends. Coins depends, and then it just depends on if something is available. That's the biggest issue. Is something going to be available? But living over here, it's nice. Except the 2 things. The airplanes. They're going over right now. It's constant. Now, some days you hear nothing. I'm gonna have to wash these soon. Some days you hear absolutely nothing, and then all day it's airplanes, airplanes, airplanes. And sometimes them airplanes, especially if maybe they're a cargo airplane or if they are coming from overseas, you can hear, I don't know if I'm saying the right words or not, but you can hear the engines change. They be doing something, because I be like, Lord, is it finna crash? Is it descending on me? It be so loud. And I don't like that. And the first time I heard that over here, I was so scared I didn't know what was happening. And then I realized it's an airplane. But I couldn't sleep with that noise. So I bought me a white brown noise machine. And it does, I showed it to y'all on one of my YouTube videos, and it does all kind of different sounds, you know, rain, storm, train, or whatever. But it's a constant, you know. It doesn't stop. You know, you hear one plane go by, and as soon as that one stops going by, um, another one comes by. And yeah, I don't know why it's showing up like this on me. But it's not looking like that over here. Well, yes, it is kind of. Let me see. Turn on this light. See, when I turn on the light, it's different. But anywho, uh, that's one of the biggest things. And then they run a water sprinkler. Um, Sometimes if I'm in a bedroom and I haven't gotten the TV off yet and I'm watching it, I hear what I'm thinking is rain, and it's the water sprinklers. And then if I go to and they're not even aimed right, they just shoot up in the air like a water faucet. And if I go, I had to stop parking where I used to park because there's a dip in the walkway, and that dip in the walkway fills up with water. So you either walk in the water or you walk on the grass, and the grass is completely wet from them from the water sprinkler being cut on. And then when I come from like grocery shopping, or I got a lot of stuff I need to get out of my car, I pull up right in front of my unit. The grass is wet, so I'm sloshing in the grass, and you can just hear it underneath your feet. Slosh, 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 slosh. I don't know why they feel every day they have to turn that on. The only time they didn't turn it on is when it was supposed to freeze, and they didn't turn it on that day. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do a matte color with a little purple on, because I got on my little purple dashiki or muumuu. Let me stand up so you all can see it. I hope you all can see it. Yeah, y'all can see it. So we're going to do a little purple, a little black, and some matte. But yeah. So that's pretty much why I probably would not go back to a 55 and older community. But thankful to be here. It's not bad at all. It's just that for me right now, I just need a little bit more space. Just a little. Okay, so that is all that I can think of. If you guys have any questions, what I pay for rent over here is $14.50. You pay a app fee, which is not much. It's under 20. And you pay a deposit. It's not even over 400. I'm not going to say how much exactly, because it could have went up since I moved over here. But at least you know the app fee is not over 20. And at least you know the the deposit is not over 400. But I'm going to get off, and when I finish doing my makeup, I'm not going to put on no eyelashes, because after this is over, I'm going to take them eyelashes off. Maybe even I would take the eyelashes off. But I am going to do mascara, and come back and show y'all. And who knows, I might even take the makeup off because I don't think I'll be going anywhere today. I think I'm just going to chill because tomorrow I promised myself that I am going to go to line dance tomorrow. And depending on the weather, it's not 70 degrees today. Depending on the weather, I may go out and walk, but I'm not sure of that since I am going to line dance. But line dance, they have at different times of the day. And I don't know if tomorrow line dance is in the morning or if it's in the afternoon. I tried to look it up online, but the calendar wasn't there. So I don't know if the calendar is being updated because I did write the times and the dates down in my agenda, but I only do it for weeks at a time just in case they decide that they're not going to have it or have to cancel it one day. I always can go online and look and see if, it's been canceled or whatever. But I looked for the calendar and I could not find it. So I don't know if they're having it tomorrow or not. But I will be contacting them to see if they're having it tomorrow. Okay, but guys, I'm going to, if you have any questions for me or I didn't answer something that you're curious about, leave it in the comments. And if it's enough comments, maybe I can come back and do another sit down Q&A or something. And talk about it a little bit more in depth. And what I'm doing right now, y'all hear all of this moving. I'm just looking for here those are used up. That's why I can find it. They are over there. They need to be washed. That answers that. That's why some of my brushes are that I couldn't find. I got a mirror sitting in front of me, y'all, so that's why I didn't see it. But that's all for now. Again, if y'all have any questions for me that y'all want to know that I might can answer, just leave them in the comments. And again, maybe this will bring on a Q&A. Because I just answered questions that I thought y'all gave answers to questions I thought y'all might want to know. Because I didn't know. By coming into a 55 and older community for the first time. So, we live and learn. So that just goes to show you are not too old to learn something. Because living over here, I learned that you can be under 55 and live over here. As long as somebody's 55 that you live with. And I learned the process of going through what you have to go through to get qualified or approved. And this is black liner that I'm using. Again, it came, this is another, it came from Beauty Supply. It's waterproof, it's black, it's an eyeliner. This is what it looks like. So yeah, we all can learn from one another. Just because you don't live in a 55 and older community doesn't mean that I don't need to listen to this. You might have an aunt, uncle, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, cousin, a co-worker that you kind of talk to a lot about different things that may be considering going into a 55 and older community. And you can say, hey, watch this blogger. She talks about it. Because I'm 62, guys. And this is my first time living in a 55 and older community. So, yeah. But I am going to come back after I finish the last few things I need to do and show you all the final product. Okay, Silver Squad, here is the final product of my makeup. I put some blush on after I got off camera with you guys. Some lipping. I did not put on any mascara at the bottom, but I did put on my fake lashes at the top. And they're just a strip. They're not individuals. So that is the end of this video. Hope you guys liked it. Make sure you comment, subscribe, and if you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and I'll talk to you there. Bye-bye.